Ever poured the scent of spring over your pancakes? This is Rowan Bud Syrup, a lovely almondy marzipan flavoured syrup, and here's how to make it. I've been out harvesting these Rowan flower buds. In early to mid-spring when they are still buds, they're bursting with flavour. You can also use the leaf shoots, but as you can see I'm too late for these in the main, as most have unfurled into the leaves. Though I did find some. I'm even later than ideal for the flower buds because prime time is even when the flower buds are a bit less unfurled, but these will still work. To ID the tree, it is a little harder before the leaves unfurl, which is the best time to be honest, but if like me you're a bit late to the party and just getting these flower buds and the leaves have mostly unfurled, then this leaf structure can help. It's similar to ash, which is why the tree is sometimes called mountain ash, with 5 to 8 opposite pairs of leaflets at right angles to the stem, with a terminal leaflet at the top. All the leaflets are serrated, and the entire compound leaf, as in the whole structure, is about 10 to 15 centimetres long normally. The tree as a whole will never be more than 20 metres high. It's normally about 10 to 15 metres, so quite a small tree. And rowan trees have smooth, silvery grey bark with these grey patches on it. If unsure, obviously play it safe and don't do it unless you know from last year that it's a rowan tree. It is easier to ID when the berries are out in summer and autumn, so even this year you could ID it later and then note where they are to come back to next spring and do this. Anyway, here's how to make the syrup. Harvest the flower buds and or the leaf shoots if you're early enough. Just take a few from multiple trees if you're wanting quite a few, but you just need enough to at least cover the bottom of some kind of pan. I put them in a pan and then cover with water, but I measure how much water I use. I'll tell you why in a bit. The traditional method, which is arguably slightly better than doing what I'm going to do when it comes to preserving and extracting the flavours, is to add cold water and then add your sugar and heat the liquid up to at least 70 degrees C, but not boiling point. But I cheat a little bit as I don't have a cooking thermometer to measure the temperature, by using my kettle to preheat the water to the right temperature because my kettle does have a thermometer on it. So I heat the water in a kettle to about 80 degrees C, not boiling. It is important the water doesn't reach boiling point no matter how you do it, because that can destroy much of the flavour. But it's equally important to at least hit 70 degrees C, as that's what will destroy some mild toxins. These toxins in small doses won't do any harm anyway, but obviously it is best to destroy them. The longer you go above 70 degrees C, the less marzipan flavour you'll have, so that's why I like to hit 80 degrees C on the kettle, because then it's definitely at least 70 degrees C by the time I pour it in, but it won't stay too long above 70 either. It will soon cool. So I pour my preheated water over the buds to cover them fully, but no more than that. In my case, I used almost exactly 1 litre of water, so I'm going to add 1 kilogram of sugar. If you use 500 millilitres of water, you would use 500 grams of sugar, and so on. So that's why you measure how much water you put in, because whatever millilitres of water you use, you put in the same grammage of sugar. If you were putting cold water in, you'd add the sugar straight away and stir as it warms up, but either way, you stir thoroughly for a few minutes until the sugar dissolves completely, and then just cover it up and let it cool completely for a few hours. I then just strain off the liquid. I use a sieve lined with muslin cloth, and then bottle it up and keep it in the fridge. You can sterilise the bottles if you want, that might help it keep even longer, but I used an empty spring water bottle which is virtually sterilised anyway. You can freeze some too if you wanted. If using glass containers, remember to leave plenty of space at the top because the liquid expands and it could break in the freezer if not enough space is left at the top. If at any point it starts to ferment or go fizzy or smell off in any way, then I'd get rid of it. But if it's stored well, it should keep well in the fridge, I'd say for at least a month, maybe a lot longer too, but I'd only commit to saying at least a month, which is why it can be a good idea to freeze some. Some people, I don't do this, but some people might add a splash of vodka, which can also help increase its keeping qualities. By the way, you can also use the syrup-soaked buds that you've sieved off, so don't get rid of those. You can use them by dehydrating them and then having them as crunchy sweets. But anyway, the resulting Rowan Bud syrup that you have left over is floral, nutty, almondy and marzipan-y, perfect on pancakes and cocktails or drizzled over ice cream. You could call it a taste of spring in a bottle, with the flavour of that syrup being from a tree near you.